Okay, we will do this quick. I'm under pain of death that I can only speak for 10 minutes and then we go to questions. So, firstly, thank you for the invitation to come and speak. Peter Blake, Transport Director at Greater Cambridge Partnership. For those of you that don't know what that is a partnership of local authorities, business and education establishments in the Greater Cambridge area to support good economic growth. So I don't deal with planning applications, I don't fill potholes, but what I do is I try and support and deal with some of the growth implications that we've got with Cambridge and Greater Cambridge being a successful place. What I am going to talk to you primarily about tonight is a recent study that we've just done that caught attention around the biomedical campus and the transport implications. Much of this you will already know because you live and you experience this on a daily basis. But I just want to shoehorn in at the very end a consultation we're doing at the moment around the wider picture on what future transport probably needs to look like in the Greater Cambridge area, because I think it's relevant to the conversation. So I know that the stopwatch is on me. The study that we undertook actually is the first comprehensive review of transport arrangements around the biomedical campus since it was established, essentially in three parts. What's the issue like? What are the problems and concerns like today, and what will they look like over the next 3 or 4 years? Then let's forward roll that in terms of the period to 2031. That's just the time frame that my organisation operates to, so we get a sense of what it looks like there. And then let's play back what the existing plans are. Do they address and resolve the issues? And if they do, great. And if they don't, what else do we need to do? I should say this report went through my executive board yesterday. Sam was there to ask a number of tricky questions, and I'm sure we'll get another go at that later on. Right, so in a sense, I hope you can see that. The figures speak for themselves in terms of the nature of the challenge today. I can let you have the slides if you help. So 2017 issue, numbers of staff, numbers of patients, number of movements there, and simply rolling that forward over the next 5, 10, 15 years is the problem is going to get significantly more challenging within the area. And the only constraint that exists at the moment is the capacity of the network. At peak hour you can't move anyway, but what will happen is the pressure points are likely to increase. So that's probably telling you nothing that you didn't already know. What we need to focus on is, well, what's already planned and what will the impact of that be? So there are a series of sort of planned interventions, planned projects going on. All of this information is on our website that I'll leave you with at the end. In terms of additional park and ride capacity, in terms of new cycle provision, new ways, Chisholm Trail, public transport corridors, one coming up from the Linton area, others coming from Camborne, Waterbeach and East Cambridge. So actually, there's quite a lot that is planned, and what we need to do then is reference how that impacts on the local area, impacts on your neighbourhood and your communities. Two other projects that are particularly worth mentioning. One is Cambridge South Station. You may well know that local partners at the Department for Transport have committed £10 million to developing the project. That's ongoing at the moment. What this work found that in terms of the biomedical campus, Cambridge South Station was a game changer for the opportunities it created. And really, I don't think the consultants pulled any punches by saying to local organisations like ours, the Department for Transport, you need to get on with that, frankly. And then I'm sure you've read about the sort of the mayor's aspirations for the metro, and that in itself will offer significant benefits to the wider area, albeit on a sort of later time frame in terms of the timescales we're looking at. However, and again, you're probably well aware of this, in the short term, there is an existing problem, and we need to do what we can to improve the situation now, whilst some of these larger projects come on board. So very much looking at walking, cycling, public transport improvements that are deliverable now. And I think there was a question earlier on around the number of just stakeholders involved on the site. And I put my hand up to say there's a number of stakeholders involved off the site in terms of various different councils and government organisations. And one of the key elements of the conversation yesterday with my board was we've got 47 areas, recommendations we can look at. We need to make sense of that. We need to give responsibility to who is going to increase cycle parking, or who's going to make sure that there are enhanced pedestrian arrangements, or who is going to deliver those new bus services. So those recommendations need to be put into a delivery plan, and the various partners need to put their hands up and take responsibility for that. So that was one of the key actions that came out yesterday. There's a continuing conversation we need around parking on and off the site, in terms of how that's used and whether the parking arrangements and free parking arrangements actually just encourage people to use their cars, with the consequence that delivers. And the final point is choices for better journeys. So at the moment we're undertaking a consultation which runs till the end of March. Originally we were talking the 29th of March. We thought that might be a busy day already, so we'll go for the end of March. And this is asking the questions. Quite a long survey. I think 4,500 people have filled it out, and I would encourage you to have a look at it. To say, what do we want the transport and travel arrangements in Greater Cambridge to look like going forward? Because at the moment, it's heavily car dominated. And as a result of that, an awful lot of time, space is given to one road, and cycling and walking and public transport have not been developed, or to the extent they could be developed, because of the domination of that. But there are consequences of trying to address some of those challenges. They may well be you have to do something around restricting car use or enhancing car parking arrangements or whatever. There's an awful lot of information on that, and I would encourage you to go and have a look at it. I hope that's about 10 minutes, but we're going to open to questions.
We are indeed. Okay.
So, very tight,
Can I start with one actually while Chris is getting into position? Why was it the first comprehensive study of the transport needs of the campus to be conducted, given that the campus ambition has been in place for 20 years? I think I'm not probably alone in this room with wondering how we ever ended up here.
And I think that's a fair challenge. So the GreaterCambs partnership accepted this work needed to be done. We've done that now. We now have a document that we can take forward, working with stakeholders to agree what next steps do we need to do. But I accept the challenge.
And genuinely, it's not having a dig. I mean, what do you think the explanation is?
I don't have an explanation. I can't sit here and speak for various different parties that have been involved in that. What we've had now is we've undertaken the work, and we need to say it is pointing in very clear directions on a number of shorter and longer term projects that need to go forward. We now need to get behind that and make sure that we make things better.
Okay, fair enough. Right, who'd like to kick off? Okay.
Thank you for all you've said so far. Can I just clarify one thing, which I don't think you've taken in your slides? You've possibly done it intellectually, but not on the slides, which is dealing with the building on the Greenbelt in the Linton Road, Linton into Cambridge arena, and specifically GB1 and GB2, and the impact that they will have creating blockages for anything you do.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, GB1 and GB2 are the codes for the either side of Woods Causeway, which has just been approved in the recently adopted local plan for housing development, and in time there will be 450 odd houses going in on those fields, and I alluded earlier to the fact that the next local plan cycle is kicking off this year, and undoubtedly there will be pressure because there already was in the last local plan cycle for further land release there. So yeah, it's a good question.
So that's been reviewed as part of the work that's been done. I don't have a view on that planning application or the planning allocation that's been made. It's a planning scenario that I've been given. So I have to accommodate that to reflect the real world in terms of these projections. If that comes forward, or the timescale that comes forward, we need to work to ensure that all of these things are captured appropriately, and that we come up with solutions to try and address that.
Can I just add, please, I've got the mic. Do you have an input into planning though? So for example, we've got GB1 and GB2, and there are going to be implications about where the traffic goes into and out of those developments.
So we have
affect your plans.
We have no input into the planning process. We have ongoing regular discussions with the planning authorities and with the highway authorities as to how we can work together to best deliver on the challenges that we've got, and that will incorporate the plans that those authorities have got, but we have no input into those planning processes.
So they could make all the traffic come out into some huge great roundabout that would mess up your bus plans.
Well, I'd like to hope that in terms of the ongoing dialogue, then authorities are working together to ensure we're doing the best for the area, and that's the decision but no formal input into the planning application process.
Thanks.
Okay,
Sorry.
thank you. Jeff?
Thank you. A comment quickly and then a question. The frustration, I think, for many of us living at this end of the city is that there seems to be no sense of urgency in dealing with the chaos that we currently got, never mind what's coming behind. As laudable as it is to have a children's hospital, as laudable as it is to have other facilities on the campus, people have to get in there and people have to get out of there and come through what is essentially a very large residential area. And all we continually see, we've seen it again here, is dates that are miles away into the next universe. We need something to happen in the next 5 to 10 years and to have some measurable outcomes, particularly for the next 5 years, so that we don't all end up living in amongst a total and utter gridlock.
Do you have a question there?
Well, the question is, Sam, when might we see some actual measurable goals in terms of where we want to reach and how quickly we want to reach? And this is particularly relevant into Cambridge South Station. I know it's not in your gift, but we have wittered about this in Cambridge for 15 years, plus to my certain knowledge. Are we going to witter about it for the next 15 and then be told by Network Rail, sorry, we can't get it in the programme?
Yeah. So I think there's an awful lot of work that is going on that comes out in terms of public consultations and public decisions that are being made. Cambridge South Station, we've put £1.5 million into that, matched by Combined Authority, AstraZeneca, and then the Department of Transport put £5 million into that. That design work is ongoing, will take place during the majority of this year, at which point Network Rail should be in a position to say, this is what it will look like and this is the timescale for delivery, and we're challenging on that. We've just undertaken consultation around significant enhancement of park and ride at Trumpington. Trumpington, actually probably where it's busting at the seams, and it's the park and ride site where there's express demand. People want to go there, it's just not big enough. So we've just done a consultation there. A report will go to our executive board in June of this year. Consultation will follow in the next couple of months around the southeast route coming from Linton. So there's a lot of work going on. I think this piece recognises that, but also recognises that a lot of the smaller scale stuff that would make a difference around walking and cycling across and through the campus site, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do and can be improved quite significantly. And we and other partners need to make sure we deliver on those as well as some of the bigger ticket items.
Okay, Chris, take your pick. You're in charge.
Antony,
Excuse me. Thank you, Peter. 2 very quick questions. I'm a local historian, so what historical analysis have you done of all of the past schemes that have been presented to deal with Cambridge's transport problems, dating back ideally to 1934 when Dravage first threw his at the problems of the town? And number 2, what conversations are you having with medium to large leisure providers in and around Cambridge so that you're not just building a transport network for commuters? Thank you.
Okay, so we've not analysed back that far in terms of schemes and ideas and programmes, simply because Cambridge has moved so far, so fast in the last 10 or 20 years. You know, Cambridge has moved from a city centre environment to 4 or 5 centres and the city centre. And if you take bus services as one mode, the bus network has not changed. It hasn't changed. So the vast majority of buses go into the city centre, which, surprisingly enough, is where it's incredibly busy. We drag people through the city centre who don't want to go there because they're working in all sorts of areas. So the bus network, yes, it needs to focus on commuters, but taking your second point, it also needs to reference a whole host of other groups, small and medium-sized companies, students, people or maybe concessionary pass holders to build a wider network. So as part of the final piece of work that we're undertaking at the moment, we are looking at what an entirely new bus map, a bus network needs to look like to serve the needs of Cambridge today, not Cambridge 50, 60 or 70 years ago. And what we need to do then is come forward with a series of steps as to how that can be delivered. It literally, the bus network hasn't changed in over a decade. It's unsurprising that there's a level of dissatisfaction for people using that because their travel patterns have changed markedly.
Okay, Tim gets a pass because he used to be a councillor. Go on.
Thank you. There are two things I'd like to ask. One is the reason for putting all of this in, and it's the economic cost to the whole system of not having this solved. Have you got the economic cost estimated now and into the future with your time frame of what damage to our local economy the network pinch points are creating for us? That's the first one. The other is that have you modelled yet the public transport? It's not just public transport buses, it's the mix of all of the public transport that's going to be needed and integrated together for much of South Cambs and beyond, but certainly within the city.
So answer your first question, there has not been a specific model of the impact on the economy of the growth and the sometimes downsides of growth. But the very nature of the partnership being set up, the partnership was set up by government with £500 million investment in recognition of some of the challenges that were created as a result of Cambridge's growth. Two principal challenges. One is the availability of housing, and the second is the impact on the transport network, both in terms of it's not meeting the new commuters and the new growth, but also the residual impact on residents and neighbourhoods within Cambridge. So there's an acknowledgement that actually investment has been required. The public transport car dynamic is an interesting one because it's not a straight line. Essentially, where the partnership is to say the vision is to reduce traffic levels, 2011 traffic levels by 15%, which effectively would take us to a school holiday. Yeah? Now, between 2011 and today, traffic has grown that much that the target's no longer 15%, it's 24%. And again, you get a guy like me coming along in a blue suit, and I say 24% quite quickly, and we won't sit down and reflect on what that means. That's 1 in 4 vehicles off the road. So what we need to do is come up with alternatives, a real attractive alternative that does that. So the public transport modelling that we've done says not only is the public transport network in the wrong place and serving the wrong things, it broadly needs to double in size to accommodate 3 times as many passengers as today to deliver your 24% in traffic, and cycling has to continue at the growth it's been on for the period up to 2031. And so, in terms of my final slide, we can't build our way out of that within a Greater Cambridge context. One of the reasons why people like coming and living in Cambridge is because it's a nice place. If you I come along, start knocking lots of things down for new road capacity or bus capacity, yeah, that tends not to land terribly well in my experience. So what we have to do is to say, with the available capacity that we've got, how do we want to use it? All the studies have been around, not quite since 1904, but certainly decades, that say the most inefficient, in a city environment, the most inefficient use of type of transport is a car. And so what we've got to do is to have a conversation. We had a big conversation about 18 months ago where people told us traffic congestion and poor public transport were the two biggest issues, transport issues, that the area faced. So we dusted that down and we've taken it forward and said, okay, what do you really mean about public transport? What's really important? So our work today has said, actually, it's journey time and it's reliability. Okay, but I listen to other groups and they'll say Thursday's an important factor. Or I want that certainty of getting back to a park and ride site later at night and it doesn't look like a sort of desert because there's no lights and there's only 4 cars there because the park and ride starts at 7 o'clock. So part of this survey what we're taking now is to say, let's be clear, let's really try and hone down what we think better public transport looks like. And on the other side, what really are our options for trying to encourage people out of the car? Some of it is providing an alternative, some of it may well be actually a little bit of stick and saying it's just more difficult or indeed more costly to travel around Cambridge. And they're the questions that we're asking, because that's not an easy conundrum. But you know, the sort of numbers we're talking around, it's not a marginal shift. Tripling the number of people on bus services is a significant change that we need to do.
So, you said lots of sensible things, but last week, 2 weeks ago, in the middle of the Adam Brooks, which will be next to Papworth, we've just built a brand new facility which has no cycle facility whatsoever. It's quite nice on a bus, it's quite nice on a foot. There is no cycle lanes, it's like acres of space. How did that happen? How do we stop it happening again? And do you agree that was unbelievably stupid?
I agree it should have happened. And in terms of whilst I don't have input into planning applications per se, what I am doing and what we are doing is liaising with the various authorities and making sure that won't happen again.
Can you fix that one?
Where conversations are taking place.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were talking about the fact that the public transport systems need to be increased. You wanted to get people up on it. What you're not taking into account is how incredibly expensive it is to actually go on the buses. That's why I don't use the buses. It costs me £15 just to get me and 2 children into town. We have to cycle because we have no other option. But there is no way, if you increase the ability to move around on the buses, I still can't afford that. That's not money that I've got just floating around to despair out. How are you going to fund this so that it's also affordable?
So that's the affordability is a key question we're asking in terms of this work, because we recognise that affordability and time are very different for very different groups. What we're saying is to make better public transport, you need money going into it from somewhere, and we need less traffic on the roads, because otherwise we put twice as many vehicles and they get stuck in the same queue as everything else. Okay? What we are talking about, no proposals, we're just asking questions around how might we resolve that conundrum? How might you get 24% traffic off the road? Well, we could close a few roads. You could do that, and there's massive benefits on those immediate roads, and then the traffic finds other ways of going and there's impact elsewhere. You might deal with parking charges, remove free parking, or indeed put parking charges up significantly. You may well decide that you're going to go down the form of some sort of pollution charge for various types of vehicles coming in.
But that doesn't cover the... Sorry, my question was about the cost of...
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting to that. So the 2 issues we need to resolve to get better public transport are more space and more money. If you can find a way of taking vehicles off the road and actually getting a financial contribution from doing that money then gets reinvested in public transport. And so part of that question and conversation we're having is that something that communities in Greater Cambridge are interested in taking forward or not?
Okay, I think we've probably got time for 2 more questions.
Thank you. I think it's a very noble ambition to want to improve public transport. It would be great if you could do it. but most of the cars in this area drive in from outside the area, so I wanted to know what kind of the geographical area is you're thinking about using that public transport, because it only works if people don't need to get in the car at their front door. And the other part, so sorry, two questions, is how have you got the power to do this? Because I understood since deregulation of buses that bus routes have just become commercial decisions for Stagecoach. I didn't understand that anyone has the power to dictate what bus route.
Question number one, we need to look at the various different groups of people who are travelling in and around Cambridge, and there are different responses to dealing with that. So some of the work we talk about on Park and Ride at Trumpington, or indeed at Junction 11 generally, more capacity there will capture a lot of people who are coming in on the motorway, or indeed on the A10, before they get within the city environments. We've got the same pieces of work going on the Cambridge South East scheme, the Waterbeach scheme, the Campbell scheme. So we're looking at parking arrangements where people can then access reliable public transport to come in. So there's a whole balance. We took a report at yesterday's meeting around improvements to Whittleston Station and Foxton Station, parking arrangements to encourage people to come in by train rather than by drive-by car. So there's a variety of means of dealing with that. You're entirely right around bus deregulation. The Mayor has the power to franchise bus services. He's currently reviewing whether he wishes to do that or not. At the same time, public authorities have the ability to purchase additional bus services over different routes or different times or whatever. And so the conversations, if we were taking this forward in terms of raising in one area and spending in one area, we could either use the franchising powers that the Mayor has or contracting powers that public transport and public authorities have to take that forward.
Thank you. That was the first speaker talked to us about the project plan for the hospital. He showed very clearly steps from where they were a couple of years ago to where they want to be and when they want to be. You've shown us what the population or what the demand is in 2017 and what it's going to be in 2031. You haven't shown us the timescales for any of the projects that you've got in mind. And when I read the Carpen, for example, every week I get a report, and I read a report of this, I read it about these meetings and so on. Nowhere do I see what steps are happening, what the proposed timescales are, and when the finished points are. Do these exist? And if not, or if they do, why are they not communicated to the public?
So they do exist. My excuse for tonight is I only had 10 minutes. So I didn't want to... So each of these schemes...
Is it below me?
No, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying I only had that as a constraint I had. Each of these schemes has a project plan behind it, incredible detail on most of them that's available on the GreaterCambs website that gives you the various stages that we're going through in terms of consultation, business case development that we're obliged to take forward, planning permissions for many of the schemes, particularly Park and Ride, and delivery and construction timeframes. So that information is publicly available.
Sorry, that's...
Go on, Cathy, quickly. Chris, can you pass on the mic?
You're saying those schemes have plans, but what you're talking about is greater public transport networking. And that's not on there at all.
No, because the piece of work we're doing at the moment is a conversation with the residents and communities of Cambridge. Taking 24% of traffic off the road and maybe charging to do that is quite emotive and certainly very politically challenging. Yeah? So we're having a conversation as to whether the area is interested in doing that and reinvesting it in public transport. There is not a secret plan to say this is the time scale we'll do it in, because we're still having a conversation with people to say whether they want to do that. The infrastructure programme that we've already got, that is the big Park and Ride schemes or public transport corridors, they all have timeframes and project milestones as you would expect. But this final piece of work is a conversation to say, If we want to move the dial significantly and give far more priority to cycling and walking and public transport, we might need to do something quite different. But to do that, we need to make sure that our residents and our communities are on board with those ideas. And that's the conversation that's taking place.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to curtail it there because I do want to allow plenty of time for a last item. Peter, how can we best carry on this conversation? Because I think, there's been a lot of frustration for a long time that this neighbourhood has. I think I used the phrase collateral damage at one of these meetings 2 years ago. It doesn't feel like the channels have historically been very functional. How can we engage better with
And I think that's fair. And I think the board, when they considered the item on the CBC yesterday, reflected that in terms of wanting more residents involvement. So we've been tasked with going away and talking to partners on the site about what the sort of short and medium term steps are. And I think once we've done that, it would be appropriate to work out how we come back and feedback on that. In the meantime, the website and the choices for better transport, 4,500 people have filled out a survey thus far. It would be jolly if we had a few more before